Welcome to Feared and Forgotten in Florida. I'm your host, H.R. Gertner, and I'll be your tour guide through all things Florida. Florida's history is filled with tales of all manner of exceptional individuals, as is Florida's nightly news. Some Floridians find relief among Florida's oak hammocks and sandy beaches, while others move through life like the hurricanes that so often berate the state with their destructive winds. All, however, come together to make Florida the wild, weird, and wonderful place it is today. Each week on Feared and Forgotten in Florida, we'll examine the continually amusing feats of the modern-day Florida man before diving into Florida's past, where similarly disturbed characters prospered. Thanks for tuning in to Feared and Forgotten in Florida. Now on to the show. The St. Lawrence Agency, based in Altamont Springs, Florida, provides a service to a particularly narrow market. The St. Lawrence Agency focuses primarily on providing limited and comprehensive alien abduction insurance. A Florida man, Mike St. Lawrence, conceived of the company's mission after learning that while his homeowner's insurance policy did cover relatively common events such as fire, flood, and wind damage, it did not cover unexpected occurrences such as alien abduction. Since opening its doors in 1987, St. Lawrence has sold nearly 6,000 policies. The basic alien abduction policy starts at $19.95 and includes financial, sarcasm, and identity coverage, as well as outpatient psychiatric care in case of alien abduction. A claim requires a signature from an authorized onboard alien before it will be processed. Policyholders with successful claims are entitled to $10 million in compensation. However, this will be paid out on an annual basis dispersed equally over 10 million years. In other words, beneficiaries will receive $1 per year until the coverage is paid out completely or they die, whichever comes first. Florida is a strange and unpredictable place. This Florida man says, better safe than sorry. To purchase your alien abduction insurance, visit UFO2001.com. In September of 1950, their exploits captured the public's attention as stories ran across the nation about the case of the Silver Falsies, the case of the Clinking Braziers, the Bra Bandits, or most popularly, the Brazier Brigade, a group of young women employed by the Southern Bell Telephone Company in the counting room in Miami, Florida, had smuggled a significant amount of money out of the building by hiding coins in their bras. Taking advantage of how the company processed payphone collections, a group of employees centered around Betty Corrigan and Marie Orr diverted coins from their journey to the counting machines and onto an alternate path to their bras, and ultimately out of the building. These young women and others were hired to transfer coins from sealed containers to automatic counting machines. The automatic machines count was the first record of revenue from the payphones at the time. As a result, Betty, Marie, and at least one other female employee, but possibly more, figured out they could covertly transfer coins to their bra prior to placing them in the counting machines. Southern Bell would not miss money that it never knew it had. The women had stumbled onto the perfect crime, apparently. If not for an unexpected fluke visit from police due to an unrelated robbery, their crime might have gone undetected for years. A phone call from 18-year-old Rita Orr, Marie Orr's sister-in-law, who was neither a participant nor aware of Marie's crimes, alerted police to the theft of $5,000 from a cedar chest in her home. Miami police officer I. Ray Mills arrived to investigate. While Officer Mills was at the home, Betty Corrigan arrived. A few questions led to an eventual search of Corrigan's car, in which Mills found 3 suitcases, 2 containing over $4,000 in quarters, and a third containing almost $1,000 in paper currency. The $4,000 in quarters alone would be worth the same as approximately $40,000 today. When questioned about the money, Corrigan and Orr's stories started to spill. They confessed to stealing thousands of dollars from Southern Bell. The money had been spent on new cars and mortgage payments. Miami police eventually recovered $10,000 in cash in Corrigan and Orr's possession. Due to the lack of any kind of paper trail, however, the women were released. Initially, it appeared as if the women had committed the perfect crime, but prosecutors were not about to let the women off so easily. Dade County Solicitor Robert Taylor jokingly told the press, "If everyone will keep their brasiers, their shirts, on for a few days, we'll have some cases. It is a question of assembling evidence, and charges definitely will be filed." Charges were filed once Southern Bell was able to compare long-distance toll records to payphone income in order to prove that $464.75 was missing from the company's counting room on August 23, 1950. The women were then rearrested on charges of grand larceny. Eventually, 11 people were formally charged in relation to the Brazier Brigade's crimes. Corrigan and Orr were sentenced to a year in jail and ordered to repay the telephone company $24,118. Although the exact amount of their theft was never revealed, police reports based on the women's initial verbal confession suggested the theft may have run over $100,000. Possibly to save face, however, Southern Bell estimated the theft at closer to $20,000. Either way, those were some heavy bras on some sneaky broads. Thanks again for tuning in to Feared and Forgotten in Florida. We hope you enjoyed the show. To support Feared and Forgotten in Florida, subscribe and give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting site. Share the show with someone else, and join our Patreon service, through which you'll receive access to new shows prior to public release, as well as an extra episode of Feared and Forgotten in Florida each week. Join us next week for another gaze into the life of the Florida man, past and present. This is your host, H.R. Gertner, wishing you all the best from the Sunshine State.